Bobi Igbo mmanụ asị m ka nke echiri ya zelu dịka o si dị gị bụ onye ọma na-ege ntị daalụli nne na ụmụ ife kunu si wee na-esola anyị n'ihe anyị na-eme n'elu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24 bịa bụ ife anyị na-akpọ ya evening tea dịka unu si wee malụ evening tea ka anyị na-akpọ ya ihe a bụ gbasịta maka ihe na-eme n'obodo a and gbasịta maka ngwụrụwa na-azọ emeka bụ ka ọ dị na ọbụla ya dị enye unu update ihe na-emegasị ebe dị iche iche kwuru na aghọta ife na-emenụ ọ ga-enye aka anyị na-akwado ụwa ya ọfụma n'ife ha na-eme maka information is power so ya mere anyị ji wee na-agba mbọ iwetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi anyị na-akpọ evening tea n'Igbo akwụkwọ ma dịka o si dị o nwere ihe Biafra prime minister nwere ikwe anyị n'elu akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa a ma chọkwa onye ọbụla bụ Igbo ọma na-ege ntị na-anụ olu m na-anụ asụsụ m na-asụ gee ya bụ ife ị ga-esi ya ịdrọpụla your own contribution your own comment n'elu akwụkwọ gbasara maka ihe ndị a niile Biafra prime minister kwuo. All right, over to you, sir.
In Biafra territory. Ignoring the Biafra Republic government in exile, democratic process will backfire. As it stands today, we are not just fighting for freedom, we are also fighting to preserve our life, our culture, and the right to live. It is no longer about just independence. No, we are now fighting for survival. We are facing extinction, annihilation, ethnic cleansing, genocide, sponsored by the Nigeria government, and being orchestrated and powered by the Nigeria terrorist army. Today, we have seen videos circulating on social media of the army having a badge that we are yet to confirm which country is that. We know that there are many mercenaries that have hired in the past. Most of those mercenaries were neutralized in Biafra territory as they come to kill our people. But today, the video that I have seen, which I am still investigating, shows there is a badge that looks like Hamas Palestinian badge, but I believe it may not be a Hamas badge. I believe it's one of those African neighboring countries. So it has come to the fact that a war has been brought to our doorstep. And those who will think that they are not going to support this Biafra today to defend our land against these invaders and murderers, you may be the next victim. It is the responsibility of every one of you, anywhere you are in the world today, to know that the only hope you have remains the Biafra Republic government in exile. And every other thing that comes with it, every other person that parade or group that parade themselves are free to do so, but must not interfere in the process that we have laid and the process we put on ground to see the restoration of independent state of Biafra starting from this year. I want everybody to understand that this struggle we left long time ago, and now liberation, is a process that must be followed diligently, step by step. As we move forward to the global stage to put Biafra on a global discussion, we have also set the principle that is going to guide this step. We've also made sure that many contact has been established for the speed up of the recognition of Biafra government. And this process is ongoing. Not limited to using lobbyists, not limited to using international consultancy firm, not limited to using whatever mechanism and measures necessary and available to us to see the recognition of Biafra government in the few coming months. People of Biafra in Austria, you have been a very big part and very big player of what you see today, the success we've recorded today in the exile government. I remember when this whole thing started, it was as if the whole world have ended on the side of the Biafra people. We saw how the Nigeria government bragged why they've blindfolded Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja, and every one of them were bragging and giving statement how Biafra hope has ended. They bragged that IPOB will no longer exist because there is something they know that many of you do not know. And that was the exposition that the so-called Chike Dozie made the other day. They said they have handed over the Eastern Security Network to governors and they are paying them. It is not a surprise because this is what we know. And there are many reasons. The decision we've taken today come with many, many reasons. The decision we took to make sure nobody will talk about Eastern Security Network again is something that is deeper than many of you can ever imagine. I remember when the Chief of Staff was sharing a message, a directive from me, that nobody should mention from today, that time, Eastern Security Network, or what we have now is Biafra Liberation Army. Many of these criminals use it to do propaganda. They say, you see it, they thought they have destroyed IPOB. Now, what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu set up, they want to destroy it. These are the people who, for the past 3 years, never talked anything about Eastern Security Network because they believe they succeeded in selling these young men to the governors in return for monetary compensation. And they never mentioned them. From year 1, year 2, everything was gone. All they did was to continue to expose the locations and camps of those they believe they knew who have turned against them when they know that these people have sold out. They did everything to, blackmail them and expose their location for them to be slaughtered like they slaughtered many people. They did not succeed. After 2.5 years, they came back again to tell you that is Eastern Security Network. Before then, we've already seen what many of you did not see. One, the reason why Eastern Security Network remain banned today is because they have sold out and they have given them to the Nigeria government. And for that reason, we will never allow them, that name, to be mentioned until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. Two is that for the fact that they are using the Eastern Security Network as a name to commit all manner of crimes and atrocities against our people, against their own colleagues, whom they trained together, died together, took oath together to preserve and defend our land. We see it as a sabotage of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu because what they do is to use their name to commit crimes in order to put those crimes on the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as somebody who founded the founder of the Eastern Security Network. Three, because of the current situation of the justice system in Nigeria, where elephants can fly, we decided that anything that has to do with Eastern Security Network should be abolished to make sure nobody is using, in the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu created it, to carry out the liberation of Biafra. Today we have done that. And what we have today is what we call the Biafra Liberation Army. So whatever that is going on with the Biafra Liberation Army and the terrorist state police or state-sponsored uniformed men in Biafra land has nothing to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But you see, the criminals continue to drag Eastern Security Network and IPOB to it. Why we continue to do clarification that the Biafra government has unveiled the Biafra forces, defense forces, which have taken responsibility in making sure that those who come to kill our women and children like the young man usually do will not live to tell the story. Every day, they continue to tell these people to use Eastern Security Network. After 3 years, they came and gathered boys to snap pictures and snap videos and start sharing it on social media. And nobody was asking them. In 2021, when they say everybody should return their guns and their then gun, Why did they do so? In 2022, none of these people talked about Eastern Security Network. In 2023, none of them talked about Eastern Security Network. What were they doing? Because it never existed. They thought they have sold everything, and those who know what was going on from the beginning immediately turned to autopilot. And they begin to expose them. They say, oh, say Hutokwa, ESN don't have camp there. Kigwe, ESN don't have, where they begin to point camps where the original Eastern Security Network has turned their back on them. Today, they did not succeed. We have fortified men with modern, sophisticated weapons to fight, and have metamorphosed to Biafra Liberation Army. And by next October, November, December, it is no longer going to be just Liberation Army. That will become the full-fledged Biafra Army. And that's where we are going. But before then, wonders will happen in Nigeria. We are not backing down. And if you listen to the national anthem of Biafra, there is a lot of deep message from the national anthem you just listened to. And like I said, this gun that we are picking up to defend our land can never ever go down until Biafra is defended and become an independent state. I want everybody to understand that we are not just living in the present, we are living in the future. While others were castigating, waiting for Biafra to fall, we planned ahead of them. Today, we have secured our land, others are being butchered. But during this time, the criminals that was piloting the affair of Biafra before was busy castigating every step we made. I want you to ask yourself today, especially those of you in Austria, if we follow the path that you have followed, where are we going to be today? What will be the fate of the people you left behind back home? What will be the fate of your communities? Considering the killings, ethnic cleansing, jihadist movement happening across Nigeria, you think that Biafra land would have been an exception? The answer is no. But as I'm speaking to you today, the cloud is gathering in Biafra land. The terrorist has come, and they are waiting for every opportunity to discredit what we are doing by attacking a certain community. And we are watching them. Because the next thing now is that you will see that this community has been attacked and people are butchered. They will say, oh, where is the Biafra Liberation Army? I thought you would say you have army. Believe me, before you make any move against this Biafra, we know. And when we let it happen, we let it happen for a purpose. And we're waiting for that propaganda to start. But before then, you will receive message from us. A very, very sound message, which is coming. I want everybody to understand that we are not sleeping. The way enemy is not sleeping, they are not sleeping, is the same way we are not sleeping. I no longer sleep. And I will not sleep so long as God continue to give me the strength to continue to stay awake, to make sure that every step enemy is taking, we are taking times 100 ahead of them, waiting for them to make a move. So there is no sleep in our eyes these days. I want you to understand, as we are not sleeping, they are also not sleeping. I welcome all of you. Thank you for inviting me to Austria. Go ahead.
Yeah, the unveiling of our currency and the unveiling of our digital satellite and radio and all these other things. Do you think the speed is not too much?
Well, anybody that is talking about speed with me is making me today a liberation message.
This day we've seen again that the terrorist state, Nigeria, the lawless state, the failed and collapsed entity called Nigeria has failed and continue to fail in the judiciary. The judiciary of Nigeria is not the hope of a common man. That has been proven today from the court where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was denied bail. This is not what we have come to do today, but it is very important that we remind our people, like we have said before, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be released in a historic manner. The key to his freedom lies in our palm. My fellow Biafran, how far we have gone as a government will surprise many of you, especially those who never believed that Biafra will emerge as a nation. In 1960s, Biafra incurred the enmity of the major world powers, the former colonial power, Great Britain, and even the era of the Organization of African Unity. Biafra did meet the test of the statehood under the criteria of the 1933 Montevideo Convention on the right and duties of state. These criteria are not limited to population, government, the ability to enter into foreign relations, and control of territory. Biafra case were different. However, almost all international laws and their sources try to categorize Biafra as a footnote and a failed attempt at secession, or even branded them as rebellion, rather than a recognized state that once existed and brutally conquered. Today, the power that be depriving Biafra people the freedom they merited has succeeded in planting hatred, greed among Biafrans, especially those that represent Nigeria within Biafra territory. Many of those believe that Biafra is dead. But today, we have proven them wrong. That out of greed, wickedness, jealousy, and selfishness, they succumb to the narrative of the power that corrupted Nigeria. And today they sing with one voice that Biafra is dead. We have disappointed them. The fact remains that Biafra was the first African post-colonial state, in that it was not based on some former administrative unit of imperialism. fellow Biafrans, in March/April 2023, Biafra restored its exile government, which was ratified by the adoption of the Declaration of 2023 and Biafra Charter. The restoration of the Biafra Republic government in exile and the Helsinki Declaration has reaffirmed the independence of Biafra. When the Biafra-Nigeria genocidal war ended in 1970, many of who fought the war fled into exile. In 1999, the Biafra agitation resurfaced again. In 2007, a new exile government was formed. It was collapsed, remained dormant. In 2023, we restored the Biafra exile government. I want you to understand today that whatever the government has done is in accordance with international law. The definitive goals and the purpose of the Biafra Republic government in exile have been made public both in the media and in the print media, and also have been communicated to many countries of the world. Our goals and our purpose to secure the freedom and liberty of the Biafra people. Our goal and objectives to represent the sovereignty and the interest of the Biafra throughout the world. The objective and purpose of the Biafra Republic government in exile is to engage in international relationship and diplomacy with government, state, nations, and organizations. The objectives and the purpose and goals of the Biafra Republic government in exile is to organize for the security of the people of Biafra, their properties and land, and the people that inhabit every territorial part of Biafra land. Our goals remain to obtain diplomatic recognitions for the sovereign state of Biafra. The Biafra Republic government in exile goals, objective, and purpose is to organize the negotiation of trade and other economic activities on behalf of the people of Biafra. My fellow citizens all over the world, in order to achieve these goals, objective, and purpose, we have created the 40th state of the United States of Biafra in the homeland. We have activated the de facto government of Biafra in the homeland. We have established the Bank of Biafra. We have established the Biafra digital currency, among other departments and other governmental institutions, in accordance with international law, especially the 1933 of Montevideo Convention. It is also not unusual for there to be a period of years between exile and declaration of an exile government. We have had similar cases like that of the de facto Republic of Serbia, They went into exile in 1997, and the government was declared in 2005. And the case of the Turkestan Republic, the gap is far longer, with the exile government in 1949 and the declaration only in 2004. My fellow citizens, domiciled all over the world, fellow Biafrans and friends, well-wishers today, a legitimate government is the one that flows from a recognized state, as opposed to so many so-called government in exile. That is in reality a liberation movement. The good news today is that the Biafra Republic Government in Exile status has gone beyond a liberation movement under international law. As a result of the recognition from 5 different countries in Africa, which has never been withdrawn by those countries that recognized Biafra. This particular recognition made the status of the Biafra Republic Government in Exile not just a liberation movement, but a legitimate and a recognized government with a special status under international law. My fellow Biafrans, many experts on international law have opined that for an authority in exile to qualify as a government in international law, there are criteria which the government must meet and fulfill. We believe the Biafra Republic Government in Exile has met all those requirements. And I would like to take us a little bit on history. It is very imperative. Let's look at the precedents of history of government in exile. My fellow citizens, there are indeed precedents for government that achieve sovereignty during times of strife, obtained limited international recognition, went into exile, and were succeeded by declared exile government, and then eventually become independent and member state of the United Nations. I will take you to a journey of Slovakia. Slovakia was an independent state from 1939 to 1945. Slovakia was recognized by 29 different countries during that time. Following Slovakia's reintegration with Czechoslovakia in 1945, the former Interior Minister of Slovakia, Dukansky, set up a government in exile in 1947, which went through several transformations, just like the Biafra people today. As an exile government, the Liberation Committee was part of the Slovakia exile government, the Liberation Council, and finally the Slovak Congress, all advocating for independence, just like you have in the Biafra today. The same people, ironically, who went through this process today will tell you how Biafrans are not united, because we have different groups for the same goal, which is the freedom of Biafra. In 1992, independence was achieved by the legislation when Czechoslovakia ceased to exist. Slovakia in 1938 to 1945 was viewed by the Allied nation as a German puppet state. The various Slovakian exile government and committee were not recognized by any single country, though doubtably many doubted whether they are going to have their independence, but they achieved some sponsorship from the United States. That was during the Cold War. My fellow Biafrans, it is very imperative that you know the history of this world. How many people that you look up to today, many nations that you look up to today, they were there in the past. I will then take you to a history, the journey to Ukraine. Ukraine is again going through the second phase, the most brutal phase in the history of mankind. Ukraine was an independent state.
Ndị be anyị daalụ nne nụ ngị bụ onye ọma na-ege ntị ka isi wee nụkwa n'onu anyị and ka isi wee sorola anyị n'ihe anyị na-eme n'ife anyị mere n'ụbọchị nke taa na Eastern News 24. anyị si na ọ ya dịrị ncha dị na mma na Chukwuka bịa ma ya nọọla ya ofu na ofu otu anyị kwuru otu aka ya dịrịrị ise dịka o si dị ọ na-anụgo n'ihe Biafran Prime Minister kwugasị dị iche iche and chetakwa na ihe bụ evening tea. Before anyị aga n'elu ikwu okwu dị aha anyị chọrọ ikwu nke bụ ọ bụ na ihe a ka bụ ụbọchị ize gị na-esoro anyị na Eastern News 24 kabalụ ka ị join anyị and subscribe turn on your notification ka ị lapụ miss any of our daily update. Ọ dị ezigbo mkpa ụmụchukwu n'elu akwụkwọ ka ị lapụ miss ya maka na ebe ị ga na-eweta latest information na-emenụ ka ị mara ka esi azụ onwe gị. Dịka o si dị ejikwala ada ekene mmadụ dịka PM and also bụ ndị n'ọrụ n'okwu Maazị Nnamdi Kanu bụ onye ndu nke ndị Igbo. Chukwuka abịa ma ya nọnyere gị ikpe gị na-abịa na 19th. Chukwuka abịa ga-enye gị freedom ise ị ga-ewere onwe gị ọ nwere ife onye ịrọpụrụ ime gị maka ife ị na-ekwu bụ eziokwu. Chukwuka abịa masị gị kwuo eziokwu a na-akụrụ mmiri. The gospel of Chukwuka abịa ya ka ọ na-ezi cheki ife niile onye ndu kwuru pịkọ ka kreatọ cheki stọk ya bụ ife niile a bụ ife n'ime obodo kịta Chinefe a na-anụ ọzọ anọgide asị na sineti enye ya 500 million gịnị ka a jizi eme and people nọ na-ata afọ anọgide si mba not 255 million. What is happening? Sometimes na-ajụ ndị bayo gịnị na-eme na anyị ka e mere anyị ife a anọgide asị na-eburu ụmụ akwụkwọ 200 and something Christians to tell you that this country can never be one. Ọ bụrụ ofu chekie ya ọ bụkwa a ga-asịkwa nọ ndị Biafra Liberation Army bie je bugo n'ụmụaka na Sokoto a ga-akpọkọfa afa na to tell you the country the bias everything is not working, nothing is working. Nwere ife na-arụ ọrụ everything dey paralyzed ka onye ike ụwa gwụ cheki ya na ife anyị na-agwụ bụ eziokwu ịghọtago $1 na exchange onye agha nduru over na 750 now today is sending bụ almost 1,658 naira. Imagine Igbo bụ Igbo gwụna ka ọha m n'ọnụ kabalụ ka kọmentị ya n'ihe and share ya ọ dị mkpa ka o lichie more of our blooders and bleeders ka ha mara ife na-eme n'obodo. Daalụ nne ngwanụ ka emesịa n'ome